guys, welcome back to Unlocked. I'm so excited today because we're switching things up a little bit. We've got Nate Smith on.
Hello.
Hi. You're nervous.
I'm not that nervous.
You're nervous. It's outside of your comfort zone.
It's not. I do podcasts every day. So
no, you do not.
Okay, so, a little nervous. I've seen your show.
Oh,
and I know it's, there's no rules.
No.
Who knows what you're going to say?
There's not. I'm going to hit where it's different.
I know.
Because you're used to always talking about music. For those that don't know, well, first off, the reason this is different is because really up until the past 2 or 3 weeks, I've only had my family on. So now I'm venturing out.
This is good.
Yeah. I'm doing my most basic people first. Just get them out of the way,
I'm glad to know I'm not basic. So thank you. Appreciate that.
No, you fell into that category.
Oh, okay. Wait, you said my most basic people first. You said you did your family first.
Well, I meant
that would be the basic. Okay.
Y'all, this is already
we'll leave it up to you guys what you think about that. Yeah, I think she meant them, but not me.
It's going to be a long podcast.
Yeah, it is.
No, so the perks of living in Nashville is obviously there's really talented people here that I get to speak with and have on my show. So you're the first artist that I've had on.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm honored.
See,
thank you.
Well, you can be kind.
You can be nice.
Oh, wow. Y'all, clearly one of us woke up to fight today, and it was not me.
Fight?
It was not me.
That sounds like a t-shirt. I woke up to fight today.
Hey, that's my next merch.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm coming out with that. Woke up to fight. Let's dive into it.
Diving.
What? Okay, so you're 40.
I'm not 40 years old. I am 37.
Okay. 37?
Yes.
Okay, when did you start music?
A long time ago, apparently.
What's a long time ago?
I started singing. I started messing around with a plastic guitar when I was 3. I said the F word on camera. Mom and Dad have the video of that somewhere.
No.
I said the F word, and my mom thinks I picked it up on the playground. I don't know. Probably she said it is what really happened. She's blaming it on the other kids. So, and then 9 years old, I started singing more. I had a talk boy from Home Alone. I bought one of those. That's how old I am.
What's that?
Exactly. But you put this thing called a cassette tape inside of this machine,
yeah,
and then you recorded yourself. You could listen back, and I did that.
Okay.
And I would listen back and be like, wow, I'm a really bad singer. So I would do it again and again and try to get better and better. Impersonating Elvis and Garth Brooks and driving my brother absolutely insane because I was on the bottom bunk or top bunk? Didn't matter. We were sharing bunks.
Okay.
And it drove him nuts. So
that's amazing. That probably would have driven me nuts as well.
Yeah.
So you are, what is it, 4 weeks #1 in Canada?
4 weeks #1 in Canada.
See, that's amazing.
Can't believe that. Isn't that insane?
That
in
is
another country.
That's
what?
insane.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I love Canada. I love Tim Hortons. I call it Horties. Everybody else in Canada calls it Timmy's. I call it Horties. So
okay.
Let's go over to Horties, get ourselves an ice cap and a farmer's wrap, and I'm good to go.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to lie. I do love Canada. I spent some time there, and it's probably one of my favorite places.
Everyone's so nice.
I know. Everyone's so nice. It's gorgeous. It's cold as heck.
We could learn something from that, huh?
Yeah.
The nice people.
See, always throwing shade. Always. I don't get it. Woke up to fight. But you know what? I'm not going to meet.
Should we call this episode Woke Up to Fight?
Yeah, I think we're going to.
Okay, all right.
And I need you to stop moving. Fidgeting?
Am I fidgeting a lot?
Yeah, because it's going to mess Aaron up.
Yes, I'm going to freeze. Okay, here we go. And only move my neck. Hi. So,
Okay, so you were a nurse, a nurse assistant, right?
Certified nurse assistant.
Okay.
CNA.
Okay.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And actually, I wanted to be a rapper at one point, so my rap name was going to be CN8. CN8.
You're kidding.
That's so good, right?
Are you being serious?
No, but I thought that'd be a good rap name for me if I ever wanted to be a rap artist. CN8.
Okay, so you were a nurse assistant for 20 years.
Something like that.
my lifetime.
Your lifetime.
And then how did you get to Nashville? Because you're from?
I'm from Northern California.
Okay.
You love to say I'm from California. All the
Yes,
time.
you are from California.
He's never killed nothing in his life. You're from California. In front of everybody. Okay. Anyways,
The South versus not the South.
yes, but my community, it's a farming community. They do a lot of rice there and different things, and we got a lot of rednecks in the foothills.
And too, your dad though was a police officer, so you grew up.
Yeah, small town, lieutenant for the sheriff's department. My mom is currently a CNA.
That's awesome.
She is, and she's a Zumba instructor, and she loves to post videos of her booty shaking and bejewels, and it's really rough. It's rough.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't like it. It's really embarrassing. We'll look it up later. I'll show you. Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting.
And her name's Karen, by the way.
No.
It is. I know.
Is it
And
really?
she's not really a Karen.
Okay. Did you see where people are starting to legally change their names from Karen?
Because of the shame around it. And
It's like an actual thing that's happening right
her
now.
middle name's Marie, so I don't know.
That's my mom's middle name.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey, come on. Karen Marie.
You know what? We're going to spend the first 10, 15 minutes of this podcast of you being very surface level
Yeah.
and deflecting until we
have armor on.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not unlocked. You
are not. And this is, I would say, the first person I've interviewed that's very surface level.
Thank you. That's such a compliment.
No.
There's nothing to him. Just
No.
I ain't letting you in.
No, I just think this is very outside of your element.
It is.
It's always music focused.
I
And
am a
that's
little
what,
nervous. I am. I'll be honest. I am.
that's what you identify with.
Yeah.
Is music.
Yep.
So it's hard to get past that.
Who is the real Nate?
Yeah.
You know?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, let's go.
Because we got to help people get to know you better.
There's a lot.
Okay. I'm trying to think. Okay. Let's just go. You've been married,
I have.
divorced.
Oh yeah.
What?
When you were probably 3 years old.
Yeah.
This all happened.
So what would you say, how you grew from that and how that got you to where you're at now?
It changes you. They say that divorce is probably second to the pain of divorce is similar to that of someone dying. It's that kind of a painful thing.
Well, because you're mourning the loss
mourning.
of someone,
Yes.
a relationship. How old were you when you got married?
23.
No. So I guess I got engaged at 21, 22.
Okay.
So it was didn't make it to the marriage part of it, but
Close.
I was close.
You're really close.
Yeah. And so you married at 23.
She was 34.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So this was before it was
What
the cool thing to do.
34-year-old woman wants to be with a
I was a stud.
23-year-old
Believe it or not,
kid?
I was a stud at one point. I didn't have a beard, but I was still a stud. I was kind of emo still, coming out of the emo world a little bit and stuff, but
But y'all mature
Way-
starting to, yeah, wow.
Way slower, yeah.
Y'all mature way slower.
I'm basically 25 right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Okay, so how old were you when you got divorced?
25.
25. Okay, so married at 23, divorced at 25. And what would you say led you to marriage at that time?
We were obsessed. And she was the girl next door, literally. She did have 2 girls from her previous marriage. So I was instantly a stepdad at 23, which is
No
crazy.
way.
Yes. And my friends were like, dude, you shouldn't, this is a lot. You just moved to Nashville. You've got a record deal on the table. I don't think this is the move for you. And I'm like, you guys just don't want me to be happy. And I'm like that, trying to fight everybody.
Everyone's against you.
They're all against me, but they were looking out for me. They really were. She was amazing. And I loved being with her, and we fell in love. We eloped.
No.
I didn't even ask. This is why, I don't even know that person anymore. Literally, didn't even ask permission. We went to the
Nate.
courthouse and did the thing. I proposed with a pop rock, not a pop rock, a ring pop. I proposed with a ring pop.
So I now know why it ended. You proposed with a ring pop.
I did.
Nate.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you're still playing in the kitty house, and she's a full-grown woman.
Yes.
With 2 kids that she has birthed.
I was not ready for this.
She birthed 2 children, and
Yes.
she accepted a ring pop from you?
She did.
Wow.
It was the twinkle in my eye. I don't know what it was. Isn't that crazy?
Did you eventually get her a ring?
Yeah, of course.
What made you, okay, now you have to walk me through this. How did the ring pop proposal go down?
I got on one knee and proposed with the ring pop.
It was just random?
So I think our first date, we went to like a mini golf thing and we won a ring pop. So
Okay, so I guess there was a little meaning behind the ring pop proposal.
isn't that crazy? I don't think I've ever talked about
What
this
flavor
before.
was it?
I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna say cherry, I guess. I don't really know.
You didn't even buy it?
Huh? No, I did. I had to buy a new one because she looked up the freebie. I think it was gone. She looked it up, and then I bought a new one for her with my hard-earned money. I was making $1,000 a month, so I had to figure something out, So got her the ring pop. She was bedazzled,
She was like thrilled with it.
like,
You know what? There's something to be said. You know what? I'm going to apologize right now because I'm being very superficial. I am. That was very thoughtful of you. It was a kind gesture.
I'll never do it again. Let's just put it that way.
I would advise that.
Yes, never again.
I would advise that for you.
But look, I was too young. She was emotional from her divorce and stuff like that.
We all come with
We just had a lot
baggage.
going on. And the two of us together was just not a good thing. It was very toxic for both of us on both ends. And it was painful. It was really, really tough.
And so at 25, you're divorced. Were you in Nashville at the time? Or
Still
were you
in Nashville. And then I just got to a really dark mental space. I was drinking a lot and got really, really, really low, and honestly was thinking about taking my life. I was really at that point, and I ended up moving back to California to be with my family. And so my publishing company that I was with at the time, they said, if you leave Nashville, we're not going to keep you signed here, unfortunately. And I said, cool, man, see ya.
I bet they're regretting that one now.
Maybe. I'm friends with that publishing company still. We're all good friends. I went out to breakfast with the head guy not that long ago. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So would you say that the divorce was what you were struggling with mentally at the time then, or was it more music not being where you wanted to be, or what was it that caused you to kind of...
I'd say the divorce. It was very, very complicated, and we'll talk more about that another time. But it was really, really, really mentally hard.
Yeah.
Hardest thing I've ever been through.
That's insane.
Yeah, one of them at least. So, but went back to California, moved in with my mom. My parents were divorcing at this time.
Okay, so your parents were divorcing, and you're an adult.
Yeah,
You're
and I'm
28.
divorcing.
How
yeah.
old?
I'm 25 and a half.
Okay,
26.
so when you move back, so you're going through a divorce at 25, and your parents are going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a lot. So I moved in. I think I started working at the hospital there in Paradise again at
Okay.
that time as a nurse assistant. Had the hair of Ryan Cabrera at that time.
Who's that?
Oh, way before your time. You don't know Ryan Cabrera? Oh my God. Do you?
I do.
Okay. Praise him.
Who is...
Ryan Cabrera? You never
How do
heard of
you
Ryan
even
Cabrera?
spell that?
Cabrera. He was with Ashley Simpson. They had a show. He was like this pop sensation, heartthrob. His hair was
Oh,
spiked
no
up to
way.
here.
You looked like that?
Yeah, that's how I got married.
No.
She liked my Sonic the Hedgehog hair.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. So you were going through a divorce as your parents were going through a divorce. And I luckily have never been gone through that. My parents are still together after 26 years.
Amazing.
But I've heard that going through a divorce as an adult could sometimes be more confusing than going through it as a child. Watching your parents go through it as an adult versus a child.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's both bad, and I think as a kid, it might be harder just because you don't know where you're going to have to choose where you're going to live, like moms or dads, and you feel this sense of loyalty to one or the other. But I think in a way I'm glad that it happened when I was a little bit older and I was going through it so I could kind of understand to a degree and stuff, but it still was really hard,
Yeah, that's a very traumatic time frame.
Yes, it was dark. It was a dark time.
Okay, so you stayed in California you moved in with your mom.
Moved in with my mom and then moved in with my dad. So I kind of hopped around a little bit there. And then I started, I'm trying to think about the timeline, but eventually I started working at Buckle, the clothing company.
Okay.
And I started working there, and I was getting trained in all the ways of buckle, showing lots of rock revivals and Miss Me's.
Okay,
and
that's great.
And then I was like, you know what? I'm so committed to this company here. Like, I think I want to go on and manage. My brother ended up becoming a manager for Buckle.
Didn't you say that you were so obsessed with the company that you had posters?
How'd you know I was going to go there? Okay, yeah. So I was like, oh, you know what? Because we get these big advertisement things of the different jeans and stuff. And I'm like, I'm just gonna bring it home because I want to live Buckle. And I brought them home, and they're these huge posters. And my dad walks in, and he looks up, and he's like, son, why do you have shirtless men with rock revival jeans all over? I'm like, because the jeans are great. He's like, huh, that's kind of weird. I was like, well, Dad, it's not weird. It's just, what the heck? So I could have done that. But I was like, would it be weird to have girls and Miss Me's up there? I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know.
I made a mistake.
Okay. So this is actually, I love this story. It's because it's full of I feel like I'm on a roller coaster ride right now.
There is a lot.
Okay. So then when did you move back to Nashville?
Way later. So I think there was about an 11, 12-year gap, if I'm counting right, between when I left the first time and when I came back. So I came back to Nashville July of 2020.
July of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
What brought you back to Nashville?
It's kind of a long story, but essentially, we have to back up a little bit. So I moved. I did all this stuff over those years. I drove Uber. I worked at a church for 3 years as a worship leader.
How did that go?
Honestly, that was amazing. Most of my knowledge of stage and putting set lists together and performing all that was from church. So that's the best thing ever. I think every artist should start in church.
But didn't you say you'd like to drink a little too much? So it was...
And cuss and, all those kinds of things. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm living 2 lives here. You know what I mean? I felt I still am a believer and everything, but I just felt like when you're a worship leader, there's just a different standard and
there is. And I will say that's something, and I want to have some pastors on that have really gone through the crappy things, because I feel like there is a different standard, and I don't know how I feel about it, just because part of me is okay, there should be a different standard because you are a leader, you're guiding people. But then the other part of me is okay, if we're really talking about Jesus, we all mess up, we all go through things, so it's why aren't they entitled to go through the things that we go through? And
what if they slip up and cuss? And what if they like to drink beer and love to go to breweries? And can they go and not be looked at and judged? And I don't know,
Okay.
It's a tough thing.
You were a worship leader.
I was.
And then
I eventually made my way back to Paradise. My brother stopped working at Buckle as a manager. We worked together at one point, by the way. It was hilarious. So I was the assistant store manager in training. Kyle was the store manager. Our dynamics was hilarious. I remember dropping we were trying to hang stuff on the walls, and I dropped things on his feet, and just lots of things happened. He's my best friend in the world. But eventually, he felt like being a youth pastor was what he wanted to do. So he was a youth pastor for the home church that we grew up in Paradise. So it was a full circle moment. And so I moved back to Paradise. I lived on site at the church housing. So I lived there, and I helped out the youth group. So I helped raise up the worship team and was training kids on how to lead and here's how you play this part on the guitar, and trying to build up the team and stuff.
Do you feel like that saved you in a way? At that time in your life, that's what you needed?
I think so. I mean, I'm passionate for kids. I love helping out, and I love worship. So it was the perfect thing. And I got to do it with my brother.
Yeah.
So we had some pretty amazing times.
When was the house fire?
So that's I was there. Yeah. So that happened November of 18.
Okay.
So I was still at the church helping Kyle. He was youth pastor there. And then our town caught on fire. And that's kind of what started this whole process and everything. So that day I had a doctor's appointment in the morning. I drove to Chico, which is just next to Paradise. And it just got out of control. My brother was having a hard time getting out there. He was calling me I'm turning down this road and there's smoke and I had to go this way, and they had to evacuate. But when he got home, that was the most happiest moment of my life, because I went over to my dad's, and I was just waiting for my brother to show up, and wife and their baby. And when they showed up, I just lost it, because I'm oh my gosh, you're okay. Because almost 80 something people died in the fire. So it was very possible that he could have,
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that.
And I would have died because if I was there 2 more hours, I wouldn't have made it out because I worked night shift at the hospital too. And I was up till probably 3 a.m. or something. So I should have slept in. But I had a doctor's appointment that one day.
Isn't it crazy how God works?
It is.
In situations like that. And to think
that morning,
if like just one decision was made differently, like
I wouldn't be here.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like your catalyst for moving back to Nashville.
It took fear a lot out of my life, like more than anything else. Cause it was like, I feel like I had a second chance.
Yeah.
You know?
So you were going to live it to the absolute fullest.
Yep. And then, so I obviously lost everything. What was that?
There was like a bug that flew past me.
It's a mosquito, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, ADHD.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Come on.
Hi.
So it took fear out of your life.
Took fear out of my life. And then a buddy of mine that I used to be my manager at Starbucks when I first moved to Nashville went on to be in a band called Florida Georgia Line, and he was the bass player for them until they broke up.
Wait, you worked at Starbucks too?
Yes.
You left that out. So
when I first moved to Nashville, I got a publishing deal, and then I also worked at Starbucks.
No way.
Totally got fired.
Why did you get fired?
They wanted me to come in to work. I was like, that's the craziest thing ever. Like, they're like, you got to show up. I'm like, this is insane. Are you joking? Like, you guys are wild. They're like, you got to be here like 4:30. I'm like, you're out of your mind, man. Like,
welcome y'all to the life of a musician, because musicians have no concept of time.
They don't.
None whatsoever. And it's kind of like whatever you want goes, because the show can't start without you. So
I'm pretty punctual these days, I'd say.
Okay.
I was 10 minutes early today.
You were. I will give you that. Okay, so
right.
your manager at Starbucks,
Tom Beaupre, reached out to a company, and they sent me a guitar to my dad's house. So here I am with nothing left. Like, everything's burned up, and this guitar shows up at my dad's front doorstep, and I'm just like, wow, so grateful. Wrote a song about the fires called One of These Days. Put it up on Facebook, and it ended up like touching the community in a really cool way. And so I flew to Nashville, reached out to some of my old contacts, and recorded it, put it up on streaming services, and then all the money that I raised on that song, I ended up giving to a random single mom that was moving out of the area and stuff, was able to help her. And it was this cool moment because I was able to look at her and be like, man, the reason I got the guitar, the reason I wrote the song, the reason I flew to Nashville, this is all for you, you know? And it was just like this like cool, like full circle moment. It gives me chills. Like, it's like, and it was just an amazing moment. So that kind of like, I was like, okay, music can really make a difference. Music can change lives and help people. And it kind of put a new mission in my heart that it's about other people and not about me, you know?
I love that. Well, it's so true, the impact that music has.
Yeah.
Because I know for me, it's like my dad and I have always connected over music. And so as a kid, he would give me $1 for every like George Strait, George Jones, Loretta Lynn, like all of those. Any song that I learned, he would give me $1. So like I would sit on his lap and like I would just like learn all these songs.
Can you still?
No, I cannot sing. Let's preface it with that. I cannot hold a tune at all. That's no. But you know, who's the point behind it? But he and I have just always bonded over that. And there have been so many times in my life that music, I say, has saved me.
Yeah.
Because I will hear a song and I'm like, and too, with growing up on TV, I couldn't say how I felt. I couldn't go through things that I was going through. Like I had to mask it and I had to do all these things because our show was, you know, it was more of a comedy. It was more of like a feel good thing. And so.
Did you journal? Like, what did you do?
I didn't. I think I gained so much of my self-worth through performing. And like when I say performing, I mean like whether it was being like the best in my class when it came to my grades or riding horses or whatever it was, I wanted to be the absolute best so that I would get praise for it. So it was just, that's just kind of, I engulfed myself into everything other than like dealing with what I was going through. I just performed and tried to be the best at everything, which is impossible. You cannot be the best at everything. But I think that's music. I remember I would sit and hear songs and I would listen to things and I was like, I would see my life in so many different songs. And part of me would be jealous of the fact that I couldn't vocalize those things, you know, like how I was feeling and then part of me though was like, okay, it really saved me. Like it made me feel like I wasn't alone, or it made me, music is definitely a savior, I think.
I totally agree. Because I had the same thing, because I grew up in a situation where my family, it wasn't a great home life at the time and stuff. And I would resort to emo music probably.
Oh.
So I was a little emo growing up.
No, I was like George Jones.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Man.
Yeah.
See, I'm coming to all that, but didn't start off, you know. I was listening to The Used and Blink 182 and all that kind of stuff, you know. So music did save you in a way. It saved you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm surprised you didn't become like an artist or like write or something, you know?
Honestly, I went to Belmont for a hot second.
Didn't know that.
I tried to go to college but with filming, all those things, like it was nearly impossible to do everything that I was doing. But my goal was to get into like artist development, management, because I love the business side of things. Because as you know, there are not a lot of females in the music industry.
Do you still want to get into that a little bit?
I would. I think it's funny. Shane McAnally and I've spoken, and he's like, I'd hire you any day.
Well.
And I'm like, okay.
Wouldn't be a horrible guy to work for.
No, wouldn't be a horrible guy to work for. But I think I just love the challenge of it. And two, it's like Carrie Edwards, you know, Carrie is she works in country music. She's a manager.
Yep.
But like, she's one of very few, and she like is with some of the top guys. And to me, it's just like, okay, like she had to pave her way. She had to create her own space. And I think there's something to be said for that. But I also love seeing like people's dreams become their reality, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And two, I think it just, like I said, music makes me feel good. It like saves me when nothing else can. So it's pretty cool.
I love that so much.
See, look, you're becoming more.
Hey.
You're.
I'm opening up a little bit here, huh?
For years, we've all heard about Advocare. And Advocare is very well known for their Advocare Spark, which enhances mental focus, contains amino acids, 20 vitamins and minerals, an effective amount of caffeine, all while being sugar-free. It also comes in 14 flavors. A lot of questions that people ask are, what's it sweetened with? How much caffeine is there? When would I use it? Well, it's sweetened with sucralose. How much caffeine? 120 milligrams, which is equivalent to a small cup of coffee. We recommend that you use it at least 15 to 30 minutes prior to activity or any time you feel a need. All you need is an 8-ounce bottle of water and 1 stick of Spark, and you're good to go. So there you have it. That's Advocare. Now, let's try to unlock your healthiest self by using Advocare's products.
Didn't you say, though, when you moved like to Nashville, you had like nothing, right?
Absolutely nothing.
What was the story about like what you had in your bank account? What was it?
No, so I moved out here on a GoFundMe. My friends raised a GoFundMe for me. And then
because you lost everything.
Lost everything, you know. And my only income was I started doing shows and stuff and playing and doing that, but it wasn't much, you know. And then, they did a GoFundMe. I lived out of my car for about a month and a half, drove all over America, slept in rest stops with a pocket knife on my chest, just like, please, God, please. And I was like, how am I gonna like have some privacy? So I'd take like a hoodie and put it up like on the window and like roll the window up, so it was kind of like a little bit of a blinder. And I'm like, this sucks, man. I was like, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? You know? And then I went to Colorado, and my dad was like, gosh, it's so beautiful there, son. He's like, you know what? I miss you. And he got in his truck and he drove all the way from Chico to Frisco, Colorado. And he went camping with me for a few days. And he's like, man, your sleeping bag sucks. Let's get you a new sleeping bag. And we tent camped together. And it was this really special like time. And my dad, he's my best friend in the world. He really is. But growing up wanting to be an artist, he was like, you need to go to college. You need to do this kind of stuff. I don't know if this is what you should be doing. So I didn't really feel the support of that growing up.
Well, there was a time to where I feel like it was just like, it's crazy to see how relationships evolve. from like your parents when you're a child versus as an adult, and how nothing's ever permanent. Like their relationships can be repaired and and I think that's the coolest part is like finding those moments to where it's like everything changes. You know, it's like you look at your relationship and you're like, holy cow, I love the relationship that I have now.
Yes, it's so different now. And my dad's changed a lot as a person too. And he got saved a few years back during the divorce. But it was the first time that he really like gave me like you can do this. So like he was getting ready to leave the campsite, head back to Chico, and he unzipped my tent. And he came in and he goes, son, I just want to tell you something. I'm like, what? And he looked at me right in the eyes. He's never said anything like this. And he said, you're going to do big things in Nashville, you know? And it just like hit my heart in a way that, I mean, it was so redeeming. And
it was something that you had needed for so long.
So long. I needed that validation from my dad. And I still seek it. You know, I want to make my dad proud, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's my hero, you know?
Well, I think that's, and I say this from my own perspective, is that's healthy to an extent.
Yeah.
But the more you seek the validation or do something to make someone else proud, the less you become proud of yourself,
Yeah,
I think.
that's good. That's
and
good.
I say that because my whole life, it's always been, I want to perform to gain that love and affection and whatever it may be. And part of that I put on myself. I did. I think that came from being in a family of 5 kids, and there's only so much attention that can go around. And when you're competing for it, you know, it's like there's only so much. And I always wanted to be the best. But the older I've gotten, and especially in the past few years, I've realized that like it's so exhausting doing things because I realized I was doing so many things that I didn't want to do, but I was doing it to like make my dad proud or doing it. And it was always my dad. It was never my mom.
Yeah.
That I was like,
Hey, who cares, huh?
yeah, like my mom was just more, she was like just more chill, you know,
Yeah.
and more, it was less of that having, I don't know. It was interesting. So that's kind of a.
No, that's really good though. That's good.
Where it aligns.
But there is something, I totally agree with you. There's just something about like your old man going like, hey, you're just like, yeah, all right. But I'll tell you what, he's like a absolute super fan. Like he wears the shirt to bed, I swear, every night.
Stop.
No, not every night, but he wears it a lot, and he's at so many of my shows, and so is my mom. My mom's been supporting me for a long time, so she's also like an absolute super fan and stuff. So it's just cool. I love the fact that my favorite thing about doing music, one of my favorite things about doing music is the fact that it brings my family together. So like I get to see my family more often because we have something to do.
Yeah.
Something to circle around. Like, oh, I've got a show, and wherever we fly out and we hang, and it's like, yes, like
that's awesome.
It's amazing. Yeah.
So it was that moment your dad looked at you and was like, you can do this.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to do big things. And then you proceeded to Nashville.
I drove to Nashville, got down to $0, and my dad was like, "You need a little money. Let me help you out." So he sent me $500, and that was a lifesaver. So I went and got groceries and whatever else. I moved into this apartment with a lady who had a cat. Not a big cat guy. But
what do you mean you moved into an apartment with a lady with a cat? You did not go much into detail, and
that's all you need to know right there is a lady with a cat, you know?
Oh,
and,
gosh.
No, it was a friend of a friend of a friend. She had a room available. I'm like, awesome. This cat was awful. It was like scratching at my door, meowing all night long. The place smelled like ammonia. If she's watching, I'm so sorry. I hated that so much. And she probably hated me like singing in the room all day. I keep hitting the mic, sorry. Singing in the room, making noise and stuff. But then I got down, so my dad gave me the $500, then that whittled down to $14. I had just gotten a management deal. Just so thankful for that with Chief and Simon at Core. And then I had met with Maya Hansen and Rusty Gaston at Sony Music Publishing, and they offered me a publishing deal. And I shared my whole story with them, and literally down to $14 the day I signed there. And then 2 days later, I got a bonus. When you first sign, I paid 3 car payments. I paid my rent. And I was just like, wow, I have income. This is so crazy. And I got to like learn how to write songs again and stuff, you know? So it was pretty cool.
And again, that was like another way that God showed up.
Yeah. Right on time.
And so it's like right when you
He loves
feel
to
like
wait till you're almost late, you know? You're like, it feels
almost
late.
Yeah, I'm really needing you to show up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy because that's obviously where I feel like my life is at right now. Is like, hey, I needed you to show up yesterday. Like, like, come on, what? Stop messing with me, you know? But I feel like the sooner we realize that like God works in His timing and not ours.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so then you got your management deal, your publishing deal.
Yep. Wrote songs for about a little over a year and a half, just like 5 days a week, like so many songs. And then I met with Sony Records, Sony Nashville, Margaret Tomlin and Randy Goodman over there and stuff. And we had a couple of meetings and they signed me to a record deal. It was the craziest thing. I remember calling my brother, FaceTiming and like.
So what year was this?
This would have been last year. Yeah. So
all of this has happened within like a year.
Couple years. Yeah.
Year, 2 years. Yeah. Like really that your career has just like taken off.
It's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah. And they're the best label. I always tell everybody, like, if you're looking for a record deal, 5 out of 5 stars, you know, Sony Records.
How much did they pay you to say that?
Great reviews. Nothing. They're amazing. They're so collaborative.
That's awesome.
Like, I really feel like I have complete creative control.
And that's hard to find in this town.
Yeah.
It's like I've spoken to so many artists to where they feel like they're pigeonholed or like they can't be themselves and that they're not given that creative control or direction that they want.
They really need it. So it's like management now is kind of like the artist development of what a label used to do. So your management will develop the artist and basically get them ready for the label. They create, you know,
your image, rolling, your look,
all that, and getting your streams going and making sure you have something to bring to the table because the label really wants to partner, you know, and that's what Sony did with me. We have a partnership. Yeah. You know? So
that's awesome. Yeah. That is
awesome,
so
right?
awesome.
Yes.
So, okay. So then that's insane.
Mm-hmm. And now it's like we're literally number 4 on the airplay charts in the US, 4 weeks number 1. I think I don't even know how many million streams I've got last year. Whatever. It's just crazy. The whole thing's nuts, you know. Get to do CRS New Faces. I'm going on tour with Thomas Rhett and Colson Dell this year for the whole summer.
That's going to be a blast.
I can't wait. I literally can't wait.
See, I love seeing good people succeed. Like, that's my favorite part because in this town, you've got a lot of crappy people that succeed, which is really hard to watch. I'm just going to say it. Yeah. It is very hard to watch. But then when you see like actual good, genuine people succeed, it's awesome.
And I just like, I have a really clear mission. I want to make music that helps people, that helps me. Because I struggle with, you know, mental stuff all the time, you know. Yeah. And, I have anxiety and depression. I still deal with that. Panic attacks all the time.
How do you deal with it?
I see a therapist, and like we kind of walk through like how to manage that, you know. But honestly, sometimes I don't know how to deal with it, and it just I feel like I'm getting beat up, you know. But I try really hard to combat negative thoughts. I think that's the main thing is like you get these negative thoughts and then kind of, it says in the Bible, take everything every thought captive. And I really feel like I have to actively take those thoughts by captive and go like, that's not true, you know, and then put the truth in there, you know, but when I don't do that and I allow it to beat me up, it can be pretty rough for a little bit. So this is a daily war. With
all the success that you've had this year, it's easy to look and be like, oh my gosh, like your life is great. You've been 4 weeks number 1. You've had millions of streams. You're getting all this notoriety. You know, you're like super TikTok famous. I'm still jumping on this TikTok trend thing. Guys, for me to be 25, I'm terrible at social media and TikTok is hard. But you've like become like this sensation on TikTok. It's insane. But it's easy to look at that from an outside perspective and say, like, it's all perfect. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
And I think, go as much into it as you want, but towards the end of this year, it like hit you. Yeah,
hard. I mean, one of my last shows, it was a radio show up in the Northwest. It just kind of came crashing down, and I just felt like I just couldn't move. I kind of froze. I froze, and it just really, really hit me. And it was the realization that like I actively have to pursue this, and in so many ways, I think diet and exercise is going to be a big part of what I do this next year. And then, regularly going to church is going to help a lot. And then just maybe amping up my therapy and stuff and really going after this. So it's a job.
Well, I think what you just said, actively pursuing it, because it's so easy to look at your situation and sit in it and not, and you hope that you can do something to fix it. But a lot of times we don't actively do it.
Yeah.
Which is really, that's the hardest part, is putting it into motion.
And you know what it is? Like the thoughts that come in, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, but the thoughts that come in my mind are always the same. It's always coming against my identity every single time. It's coming against like my value, my worth, and it's always saying, you're not good enough. You're not enough. Look at what this person's doing over here. You think you're doing great? Well, look at them, And it's always this comparison thing. So that's how I know it's not, it's a lie. It's a lie.
That's the craziest thing, because I've spoken on my podcast before about going to On-Site, the intensive therapy program that I did. No phones, no computers, no TVs, no nothing. And that was one of the things that at the end of the week, it was I wrote on a card, you're enough. And it was I put it on my mirror and reminded myself, you are enough. And at the end of the day, we just have to be enough for ourselves.
That's so weird. So I bought you remember the giving keys?
Yeah.
Mine says enough on it.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Do you know the whole meaning behind those keys, which is really cool.
That we're supposed to give them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it's
I still need it. I need it. So
I still need it, so I'm not giving it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's really cool because you don't really realize what people are struggling with. Mm-mm. And that's the biggest thing, is that just because you've seemed like you've got your life together and you're a musician and living this rock star life, it's hard.
Yep.
It's really hard.
The pressure just gets more intense as you go and stuff,
Yeah.
It does. But
Get ready for it.
just got to remember my identity, my worth, my value.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing.
And it's hard too. I couldn't imagine for you coming into, you are on the older side. I hate to say it.
We're back to it again.
But
I am though. I'm not a young spring chicken.
No.
So.
And so there's also that level of it where it's you have to keep up with the younger guys that are coming in and that are.
You're darn tootin'.
That's a whole other pressure that comes along with it. And it's just, to me, it's just insane to see what you've done. As you've said, it's been years in the making, but I feel your career has skyrocketed in a year, which is insane.
It's incredible. I'm so thankful.
And too, I will say, I posted on my social media, you saw, for people to ask questions.
Yeah.
One of my favorite questions that someone asked was, who hurt this fella?
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? Because your music, it's a little on the drink and sad side, A
little bit. Obviously I've been in relationships that have hurt me and stuff, but really at the end of the day, I hurt me, because I put myself in those positions and knew better,
That is awesome.
Yeah. Because we're in control of our decision making, we should be,
Yes, we are. But in a way I agree, in a way I don't. Because in a way I feel some people are just such good people that you end up putting, yes, you do it to yourself by staying in it, but you're coming from a place of so much love and wanting to fix someone or wanting to be there for someone, that you allow yourself to take the shit end of the stick.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely a little bit of a fixer because I'm a caregiver, right? I love to take care of people and stuff, So, but I think my next relationship, it'll be interesting because I want to be that person, but I also want that back. I want both of those things. And I think if we both got each other's backs, we're going to be so good.
Well, I think my dad and I literally just had this conversation last week, I think. And we were kind of talking about that fix it mentality, because I've been in relationships to where it's like, I don't want to fix because I think I'm right. I just want to, like, if you say you're not happy with something, or you say you're, like, I want to be able to just fix it. Like, I want to make, like, the world a better place. And I kind of came to the realization when I'm talking to my dad, I'm like, it would be a great thing for, like, two people to come together that both know they need fixing, but, like, that they're both willing to do what they need to do to fix themselves, instead of trying to fix one another, because you don't make any progress and two, it becomes more of a, like, parent-child relationship versus an adult relationship.
Because you can support,
the self-journey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While, like, you can encourage, you can support, but that's all you can do. That's all you should do.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. When two people can show up and just say, like, I'm doing the work. Like, I'm doing what I know I need to do to be better. And, like, I hope you can support that, but I don't need you to do it for me.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we kind of go wrong in relationships, is we help when people aren't asking for help. And that's where I know for me, like, I need to learn to be better about that, is not just interjecting and not trying to fix it and wait until someone says, like, hey, I need some help.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
So I don't know. It's really interesting. So I don't know. So no one hurt you. You hurt yourself.
I've been hurt.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
But I also take responsibility for it. So,
That was my favorite question, was who hurt this fella?
Who hurt you? Was there anything else that stood out?
Your biggest fan, like, craziest fan experience so far?
I don't know if it's the craziest fan, but I've got a craziest promoter. And I really hope they're not watching. The craziest promoter was a little obsessive, a little bit, and kind of chased me around the venue. Grabbed me a lot to hug me nonstop, trying to kiss my neck and saying, "Mama loves you so much." That's the part that, like, and that should go on a t-shirt too, huh? But a baby's infant's shirt. But "Mommy loves you so much." Mommy loves, and I'm just like, why are you saying that? Quit saying that. It's scary. So we had to have, like, a special knock to get into the green room, because we're like, is she around? I don't know. So it got really weird. And then she was, like, laughing at me and joking around. And then she, like, started just punching me in the chest, like, full on just punching. And I'm like, ow, ow. She's like, ha 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 ha, like, absolutely maniacal. And I'm like, this person is a freaking psychopath. So that was the craziest fan. It was actually the promoter running. And I couldn't, like, say, like, get away from me because you're running the entire event. But
yeah,
if you're watching, you scared the heck out of me. So I'm sorry. I love you, as the Lord loves all. But just, you scared me.
Okay. I love that. And two, needless to say, one of the really, big questions people kept asking, you've signed a lot of body parts.
I wouldn't say a lot of body parts. I've signed some body parts.
Some.
I've signed an ass cheek.
Okay.
I have.
Okay.
That was interesting. I've signed upper chest. We'll call it an upper chest.
Guys, the life of a musician is quite entertaining.
Lots of phone cases, mostly boots, that kind of thing.
Okay. Some body parts here and there.
I hate signing drumsticks because it's like, you're like,
yeah.
It's like the hardest thing to sign in the world.
Okay. So
no more drumsticks.
No more.
Asses are fine.
Okay. Yep. Just pull them out, y'all. He will sign them. So, okay. With that being said, okay. So your song, Whiskey on You, it's on radio.
Yes.
It's doing great.
I'm excited.
Everyone loves that song. When's your album coming out?
It's coming out in the spring.
Okay.
So we have a date, but we're going to release that date soon.
Yeah,
so.
I won't get you in trouble.
Yeah.
I won't get you in trouble there.
20 songs.
So, which is awesome.
Yes.
I will say, I've heard a few.
No, you haven't.
They're great. They're great. And our good old boy Taylor Phillips.
Yep. I'm so proud of this album. Honestly, I'm so excited. Like, I put my whole heart into this album. We had Lindsay Rhymes produced it. We had Joelle Briere produce. I got to produce, and then we had Serban Guinea mix a lot of it, and Justin Niebank. But Serban Guinea does like everything from The Weeknd, Maroon 5, Taylor
That's
Swift,
awesome.
and he's like the guy, you know. So I was like, wow, and he's so nice to me. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've got some really big things coming up in 2023.
Yep.
And two, we're recording this on New Year's Eve.
we are.
So it's a great way to start 2023. And I'm so proud of you and all your success.
Aw.
It's just awesome. I love seeing good people succeed. So it makes my heart happy. But with that being said, we're going to do something we've never done on this podcast before.
What's that?
And you're going to be the guinea pig.
Okay.
And you're going to perform a song.
Okay.
So what are you going to perform?
I'm gonna sing Sleeve.
Okay. And what's the story behind this song? What was the inspiration?
It's my favorite song I think I've ever written, but it's basically, it talks about the relationship I had during the marriage and stuff. But it's about like, I guess in the main way to explain it is like, the song's really about like going through stuff and not letting that change you, like refusing to be a victim and just going, hey man, like I'm never going to change unless it's for the better. I'm always going to wear my heart on my sleeve, whether it's foolish or not. This is who I am. And I'm going to get through it. But it also like shows the pain of the journey. So it's not like, I love Chris Tomlin with my whole heart and like worship music and stuff, but sometimes it can be so like,
Perfect.
But it's like, there's so much pain too. So I think it kind of captures both. It's an honest song. So
I love it. I can't wait to hear it.
The song's called Sleeve. There was a girl from Tennessee, brought the fires of hell on me. She brought a long line of hurt and a world of trouble. Every door became one more wall. God damn, you know I gave it all. Oh, I tried and I tried, but couldn't stop loving her. Some people take a ride, let her rust outside like a broke down Chevrolet. Some people keep it inside, going out of their mind like they're high on cocaine. Oh, I wish I wouldn't just go throwing it around, yeah, like it's fool's gold. Oh, there ain't no slowing me down. We're mine on my sleeve. Sleeve. She drove me out of state and out of mind, and I searched for her in those West Coast nights, in every little smiling stranger passing through. I still see her now and then in my dreams. It's like she's still calling out to me, but I know that she's far gone. Oh, some people take a ride, let her rust outside like a broke down Chevrolet. Some people keep it inside, going out of their mind like they're high on cocaine. Oh, I wish I wouldn't just go throwing it around, yeah, like it's fool's gold. Oh, there ain't no slowing me down. We're mine on my sleeve. Sleeve. I was as blue as those cop car lights, missing that sail that night. She broke me down to pieces. She broke me down to pieces. I'm still picking up the pieces, but at least it's still bleeding. wish it wouldn't just go throwing it around, yeah, like it's fool's gold. Oh, there ain't no slowing me down. We're mine on my sleeve. Sleep.